Marston's Domain.
Hey everyone, Marson here, and today, this might be my longest rant ever. Not sure, maybe it won't end up being as long as I think it will be. And I've also talked about this topic before, but I have finally gotten to the point where I need to talk about this one more time, and I'll probably end up rambling, and I don't know how good this is going to turn out, but I am absolutely done with how Nintendo has handled their retro games. I cannot take it. I was someone that dealt with buying these games on multiple consoles. I remember from the Wii to the Wii U, there was some method you could do and the games were much cheaper. But regardless, I had virtual console games on the Wii. I had them on the Wii U. I have the SNES Mini. I have the NES Mini. I even have the original consoles. And with all of that, guess where I would like my virtual console games? On the newest console, the Nintendo Switch. But guess what Nintendo doesn't want me to do? They don't want me to have it on the Nintendo Switch. And what's interesting is that when you transferred the virtual console games from the Wii to the Wii U, I'm almost positive they were at a reduced price and not just free, because they claimed that having the gamepad was an added bonus. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. If I'm wrong, then whatever. It still cost money. But let's just say the gamepad thing is why. Now the gamepad allowed you to not have to play on the TV. So it allowed you to play on the go, quote unquote, from like, what, 10 feet from the console? Some distance, whatever. Now with that, what does the Switch do? Oh yeah, the Switch is portable. Portable. Meaning, which, oh, I should clarify, I don't really use the portability much, but a lot of people do. So you could play Mario 64 while you're on the bus. You could play it while you're on the train. You could play it while you're on a plane. You could play it actually anywhere. Donkey Kong Country. I couldn't imagine playing that anywhere. That's insane. And it sounds amazing. But guess what? You can't do that because Nintendo has that amazing Nintendo online service, or whatever it's called, subscription. I don't even care. I don't even care what it's called, actually. So this is where my biggest problem is, because they offer the NES and Super Nintendo online subscription Netflix thing for the online service. Now you would think, well, that's a pretty cool thing. You spend the $20 a year for the online, you get these NES and Super Nintendo games, and you can even play them online with friends, which, that is cool. It is cool that you can do that. However, what's not cool is that they don't really release many games for these services. So there are many classics that aren't there. And the part that gets me so mad is that I could understand if they were still selling a bunch of these mini consoles, even though I still think it'd be a missed opportunity on profit because people would just buy these games on the Switch. I would at least be able to go, okay, well, I get why Nintendo's doing it. I still think it's kind of dumb, but I understand it. But they don't really sell those mini consoles anymore. They brought them back at one point, and then that was it. I'm pretty sure now they don't make them. Maybe they do. I don't even care. Because all I know is that that wave of sales is definitely done. And with me telling you guys how many different versions or how many different consoles or whatever that I have these games on, I am seriously saying I would still buy them again. I would buy them again. And I'm not the only one. So why would Nintendo honestly choose to miss out on profit? I'm really confused. Anytime I've brought this topic up, people have said, which I know that this doesn't always translate to sales, but people always say that, yeah, they would just buy them. I still have to hook up the Wii U if I want to play old games. Why? And what's really frustrating is that this whole online service with the NES and Super Nintendo games, nobody, I'm honestly willing to say I think the number is either 0 or fewer than 10 people who bought the online service for the old school games. These old school games are not selling the online service. They are not. if you want to play online, you will buy the online service. I really do not think that there is anyone, well, there's always an exception, so that's why I'm saying like fewer than 10, who bought this service to play these old games. Maybe there's someone who's like, oh cool, I could play online with my friends in one of these old games, I'll get it. But I highly doubt it. It's people who buy Smash, it's people who buy Splatoon, it's people who buy any game that can go online, and they go, I want to play them online. And then when they see that it has the old games, I guarantee you they just go, oh, that's cool. There's probably a lot of people that don't even try the old games who have the online service. So it begs the question, why can't I just buy the games that I want to buy? I would buy the Donkey Kong Country trilogy again. I have Donkey Kong Country games on a lot of stuff, and I would buy it again. I would just buy it again. And it could just have the online features. That could be the selling point. The selling point could be online features and playing them on the go. And they could probably honestly charge a little more than they used to. And people would be upset that they're charging more, and we'd still buy them. I'm just absolutely sick of this old school service thing that's supposed to be like Netflix, and it sucks. It's terrible. They do not add games. And then even with some of the games they have, I grew up playing Super Mario All-Stars. That's what I grew up with. It took me a long time to even know that that's not how those games always looked. It's just what I grew up with. I grew up with the Super Nintendo. I didn't know. So to be able to play Mario Bros. 3 online is cool, but I didn't grow up with the NES one. Oh, and that's not even mentioning how it took up until recently that you can remap buttons, and the NES is actually playable now because the button layout was reversed. Playing Mario Bros. 3 on that system, on the online system, whatever you want to call it, was absolutely terrible unless if you had that NES controller that they sold, which I did not have. But now you can remap the buttons and actually make it enjoyable. So that's just a minor thing, but that's still a thing, and it sucked. And you know what? No, it's not even that minor. It's just that it's a minor thing in the grand scheme of all the stuff that I'm talking about. But it's still something that was extremely annoying. But my main point with this was that I grew up with Super Mario All-Stars, so I want to play that one. What reason is there that I can't play that? I could understand if they were selling them. That would make some sense. Because it's like, well, you know, if we sell Super Mario All-Stars, why is anyone going to buy the original one separately? Or maybe they could just change the prices. Make Super Mario All-Stars just more expensive. I want Super Mario All-Stars. I don't really think that's that much to ask for. And I want to say it was in a data mine or something. I don't know. But regardless, we still don't have it. And by the way, Donkey Kong Country, any of them, has not been in any of the data mines. Any of them. So I don't even think we're getting it. Donkey Kong Country? One of the best-selling Super Nintendo games? We're just not going to get it? And you know what really blows my mind too? Is that we have Smash Bros. Ultimate. It has every character that's ever been in Smash Bros. This is how you expand your brand to a wider audience. There are people who will play NES who will then go, what game is he from? Oh, Earthbound? Oh, I play Smash Online. That means I have the Super Nintendo Online thing. I can play Earthbound. But guess what? Earthbound's not there either. King K. Rool. Someone who grew up, who has no idea what Donkey Kong Country is. Wow, King K. Rool's really cool. What is he from? Donkey Kong Country. I have that online system. Let me play one of those games. Oh, it's not there. I'm not understanding this. Like, I am actually not understanding this. Why is this so limited? When they first announced this whole online thing with the Super Nintendo games and everything, back when the Switch was just being unveiled and everything, I remember being like, wow, I'll be able to play Donkey Kong Country with my friends online. And it blew my mind. I was so excited. Come to find out years later that this service would suck and you'd get almost no games and it wouldn't have Donkey Kong Country. And I know it's weird to say that the service sucks because it's like you do get a good chunk of games. But it's the fact that I'm not asking for this with the online service. I want to buy the games that I want. There's so many games in there that I will never play, ever. And that I've never heard of. And you would think that that'd be cool because it's like, well, no, it's like Netflix. You know, there's stuff on there you don't know what it is. You start watching it. Maybe you like it. But just let me buy the games. I want to buy them. Maybe have this service along with being able to buy them too. Like, what if I bought a game and it added it to this thing? Like I buy Donkey Kong Country and it adds it to that screen. I think that's a better solution, and I actually just thought of that right now. That would just make so much more sense. Keep the subscription thing, keep it, and then let us buy games to add to it. So that way it's like, hey, if you get the online service, you get bonus games. Instead of selling it as this, get the online service and you get these games, just make it as like a bonus. I feel like that would even entice people more than what the service is now. Because I know I said earlier that this service is not being sold because of these old school games, but they could market it more as a bonus. But instead, it's not a bonus, it's the only way to play these. And it's not what we want. I don't think I've seen really anyone praise this service. And it makes you wonder, why are they so adamant on not selling them separately? And you know what's really crazy that I forgot to mention is that they have the arcade archives. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but it's the original arcade versions of old games, and they ported them to the Switch, and guess what? They have online leaderboards. Online leaderboards. So they have the old school Mario Bros. Online leaderboards. They have the old school Donkey Kong online leaderboards. So why doesn't the online service one have those? Are you serious? It has online play, but not online leaderboards. This is basic stuff. Basic. I remember on the 360, my friend told me about Smash TV, so I bought it. I had no idea what that was. I didn't know that was an old game at the time. I bought it. We could play online. It had online leaderboards. I'm pretty sure it had achievements. And it's funny that I actually just said how I didn't know it was an old game at the time, because that's how well they did it. They did it so well that I didn't even recognize that it was an old game. I thought it was just some random game. Why isn't Nintendo doing this? It would give a reason to have points in those games, because all those old games still had getting points. They all had them. It would give a reason to do that. Like I could go back and play Mario Bros. 3, one of my favorite games ever, and actually go for points. Or maybe even have time trial leaderboards. And I could go for good times. They know speedrunning's big, so why not add that? And to clarify, just so people don't get confused, I played Mario Bros. 3 with Mario All-Stars, and it's still one of my favorite games. It's just the one that I grew up with. It's just that version. But I'm just not understanding this whole service. I'm not. It doesn't sell the online service, and I think it's terrible. I guess I shouldn't say terrible, because you are still able to play these games, but I should say that the way that they've handled it is terrible. I don't want just this service. I want to be able to buy these games. Oh, and I forgot to mention, say bye-bye to N64. Say bye-bye to all the other ones you used to be able to buy. They're not going to do it. I honestly don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to add N64. I don't think they're going to add Game Boy Advance. I don't think they're going to add DS. And it's so crazy because the Wii U had those. There are so many games that I would buy right now if they were available. There's tons of games I just never got to play. When I grew up, I did not really play handhelds. The only one that I had was a regular DS. That's it. I just was not a big handheld gamer. Because then eventually I got a 3DS to play Pokemon games, to try them, because I had never played them, and I just couldn't do it. I don't like playing on handhelds. I beat one of them, and I played some other games, and that was it. I just did not like playing on the 3DS. So guess what? How about you put all those games that were on that eShop and put them on the Switch, and I can buy them and play them. And it'd be nice if it had that screen smoothing thing that the Wii U had with the Game Boy Advance games. But you know what? Even if they just ported them, well, actually no, there's no excuse for the Game Boy Advance games because it did have the screen smoothing thing on Wii U. But for some of the other ones, just port them. Just port them. Just make them format as an option to widescreen, and that's it. They're not going to look the best, but a lot of us don't care. We just want to be able to play these games with convenience. With convenience. The whole Switch advertising, marketing, whatever thing is that it's convenient. You can play it anywhere. We want to play these games anywhere. Anywhere that we go, we want to play these games. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but I want to play them online. I want to have leaderboards. They've proven that they could add the online because they already did it. So now add... Oh, and no, I was going to say they didn't prove the leaderboards, but they did because they did it with the arcade archives. So add the leaderboards, add the online play, and sell them again. I'm just so confused because it actually is just free profit. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to have one of their workers actually like drag and drop, which I'm just joking around because I don't know how it works to put them on the eShop. But they own these games. They have them. Just drag and drop the file onto the eShop and let us buy them. Just let us do that. I don't know how much that costs. I don't know how much it costs to add that one file to the server, but I'm willing to argue that it's basically free for them and that they would make much more profit than what it costs to put those games on there. This is why I am so confused, and this is why I wanted to make one more big rant on it, because it's getting old. A lot of us just want to play these old games on the Switch, and they won't let us because of this stupid service that they have that nobody even wanted. And they add like no games to them. And seriously, some of those classics that are missing, come on. And the thing that sucks the most is that I don't think this is ever going to change because of this service. Even though I had talked about how they could make it to where you could just add games to the service by buying them on the eShop, they're not going to do that. And it sucks because now I just feel like there's a lot of stuff we'll never be able to get. I remember back on the Wii U, people wanted to be able to play GameCube games on there. They wanted GameCube games on the Virtual Console. And now that dream is just completely gone because, yeah, they did some HD remasters for the Wii U, but those aren't even on Switch. And I know that there's the rumors about the Mario remasters, but that's just with Mario. It'd be nice if they remastered more, and then maybe I'd have a little bit less to complain about. But I'd still complain because I just want to be able to buy these games. And honestly, if they remastered like Donkey Kong Country, like the whole trilogy or something, I'd probably still buy the originals just to have them on there. So I don't really understand. I just don't. And I don't want to start rambling, and I can tell I'm getting to that point because I keep saying that I don't understand it and I just want to play these old games. I've heard myself say it multiple times. But the thing that I'll end this rant off with is that I hope that they reconsider. I don't think that they will because they've already made this service, and I think early on they got asked about the Virtual Console and they said that they had no plans for it. I think they either said they had no plans for it or they had no comment on it, something like that. I'm not too sure. But I vaguely remember something happening early on with the Switch, and it's just clear that it's not going to happen. Like I said, maybe they'll make some sort of shift because N64 doesn't have a service, so maybe they'll just start releasing those, but I honestly doubt it. I really doubt it, but I would be so happy and amazed if in one of the directs they just showed the Virtual Console logo and talked about how there's a separate section in the eShop for Virtual Console games. I would be so excited and I would buy a ton of them, but it's probably not going to happen. And that's the end of this big rant. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comment section down below and what you think about all this. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and want to support my content, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Take care, everyone.